Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Arizona Trail Showdown recap show for day 6. We're back again, and we've got some updates for you this morning from the trail. So let's get right into it. We've got more drama, it feels like, unfolding here on the Arizona Trail. I just got to say, this is just taking a step back. I know we're doing these daily live streams and we're hyping this up, but this is a monumental undertaking and adventure, and not to be taken lightly for sure. These guys are, as we saw yesterday, Ben Light has dropped out, but Mike McKnight is really pushing his limits here on the Arizona Trail, attempting to go 800 miles under the fastest known time.
Right.
Yeah.
And yesterday, last we checked in, we had talked to Jeff Browning, and their plan was they were pushing through yesterday night.
Yep. Yeah, so it was what, the night 4, night 5?
Yesterday was day 6.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, the night 5, when he was coming off the Mogollon Rim, decided to push through the night, which is a potential gamble. So I think what I really loved that Mike was doing early on was stopping by around midnight each night, getting sleep, banking sleep, and that seemed like a great strategy. The decision was made to press on and try and make pine. And so yesterday, we didn't hear a whole lot yesterday after the show, but he was heading into the Matazal Wilderness section. And so we were just talking about this. We'll pull up the map real quick and maybe get a quick look on it. But the Arizona Trail, if we'll just zoom out here real quick, give you guys an overview, because I had a bit of an epiphany, and maybe you did as well. This race, or this trail, is really broken up into, I would say, 3 sections. Maybe there's more to that, but in the northern part, so the section that he covered initially, from the Utah border down to the Mogollon Rim, is the northern piece, and the Coconino. Is the Coconino Plateau or the Colorado Plateau?
Colorado Plateau, I believe, is more north of Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Not tell you correct.
So it's relatively flatter terrain, even though it is more high altitude.
Right.
The southern section that Ben was going through is the Sky Islands. So you have these forested mountain peaks surrounded by desert, and you usually cross them up and down in a day. And that leaves us with the middle. So what is the middle of the Arizona Trail? And it is accentuated by the wilderness zones. And if you are not familiar with what wilderness areas are in the United States, and especially I think in probably the Southwest, we have a ton of wilderness areas, especially in Arizona. And so these are areas set aside, meant to be more wild, and there's no motorized access, so there's no roads, meaning no crew support. So there's 3 big wilderness areas that the Arizona Trail goes through. These are remote, they're rugged. You can't even use chainsaws if you're doing trail work. So oftentimes if there's down trees, they have to come in with a hand-cut crew. And so they are remote, and they are challenging. So the Matazal Wilderness is the first if you're heading southbound. Then there's the Four Peaks Wilderness, which I think is actually a little bit smaller. The Matazal section is big.
It seems like it goes on forever.
Yeah, and then you've got the Superstition Wilderness after that, which is also fairly big.
And all of these, mind you, you're going up and going down, like quite a bit. Each one of these 3 wilderness areas has its own unique big climb, big descent.
Yeah, they're all big mountain ranges. So keep that in mind as we're going through this part and discussing this. So it looks like we will have potentially a check-in from
Is that Brittany?
Looks like maybe Brittany. Her service looks a little rough, so we'll see here in a second. But we're going to zoom in on Mike. And so he was through Pine shortly after the show yesterday, which is up near the top of your screen where that time clock is. And you can see how rugged this terrain is. He crossed the East Verde River at some point. From what we heard from Mike this morning, we got a brief message from him. The crew could not make it to an access point, and so there was a closed or locked gate, so they had to hike supplies in 3.5 miles. So that, I'm sure, is an ordeal. Maybe we can hear potentially from one of his team crew here. And I think that he was not able to get into the van and get sleep again. So he's been going through the night for a second night in a row now. And we'll take a quick look at his Instagram, because he did make a post yesterday that I think is pretty compelling. And this is kind of a haunting image here. Currently sitting on the trail, feeling deflated, unmotivated, and lonely. This is the hardest thing I've ever been through. So that is definitely a sobering post here. So Mike is out there currently in the Matazal Wilderness, and his last track point location was from 7 this morning, which was a little over 2.5 hours ago, and he is currently heading up the backside of North Peak, and then he'll be going towards Matazal Peak. So he's got a bit of ways to go still. You can see this outside yellowish border is the wilderness boundary, so there won't be any roads in that part. So Mount Pelee, you can see down here when he exits the Matazal Wilderness around mile 384. It's just a short stretch to this service road just to the left of us, and the crew should be able to get there, and I'm assuming he's going to take a nice nap there.
I would, if it were me.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's see if we have any questions in the chat here. We would love to get to those. Just a lot of shout outs saying hi here.
Oh, interesting.
Brendan O'Hara, did Mike push through the night so he can begin running mostly at night to avoid the heat of the day? You know, I'm not sure if that was his strategy at this point. I think that he's just, it's slow miles in the Matazals.
No matter what.
Yeah. I think both of us were talking about it when we were on the trail, when we did our through hikes. This was, for me, the slowest day out of the entire trip. I think I was averaging 26 a day for the whole trail. My high mileage day was around 35, and I did 19 in the Matazals, probably in 15 hours.
Yep.
What was your experience?
Could we take a look on the screen there and go back to maybe where the trail starts to come up from the East Verde River?
Yep.
So
it's
just
windy.
so
There we
rugged.
go.
So we kind of planned around doing this climb at night. So this is this climb once you're coming up from the river to about that blue circle that says that 360. It's like a 4,000 foot climb, a 3,000 foot climb. I want to say just like straight out of the river. So it's something that we planned around doing it at night specifically as not to overheat. But that climb is no joke. And once you get to the top, I mean, it is very overgrown. It was overgrown when I went through there on a very dry year. So I'm
And that was just a couple years ago.
right, not too far, not too far back. I also had issues with navigation, with signage. A lot of the signage looks like it's facing southbound. Some of the signage actually found like on the ground, like 100 feet away from like the post that it was originally on. It's tough to do trail work in there. Like it's not, these areas aren't easily maintained.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably from this East Verde access, which I guess, is that part of the wilderness too? Maybe this is a county line, so maybe it's not a wilderness zone, but I mean, I'm sure that's not. But yeah, you've got maybe the last road contact is mile 350 and then to 383. So you have about a 30 to 35 mile stretch with no road access. So getting back in there to do trail work is extremely challenging.
Yep.
You know, to get tools and people. I mean, to do trail work, you basically have to hike in maybe 15, 20 miles just to start your trail work day.
Right.
So it's going to get less attention.
Right.
We don't have any check-ins at the moment from today. I'm sure Mike is probably out of service at the moment, and his crew might also be out of service if they're out in this zone, in this region. There's just not a lot out there.
No, not for the next, I mean, I would say maybe a couple 100 miles until they reach maybe Superior. It's going to be pretty limited as far as like coverage goes.
Yeah. So we've got Allison in the chat here from, I believe, fastest known time. He's averaging 2.53 miles per hour. Joe averaged 2.47. So it'll be very interesting. So that's probably the cumulative thus far, so he's still slightly ahead of the record. How is the shin and ankle? Hope he's not compensating. So the message I got from Mike this morning is that it is painful. This is a tough stretch, so we'll see kind of how that progresses. Any updates on the trail conditions, as we were just talking about? As like I have not been back on some of this stuff. Definitely that climb you just talked about when I descended down since I did it in 2008. But it's probably overgrown.
Yeah, and I remember this was definitely the densest areas, specifically for cat claw. I think all of our legs were real ripped up coming out of this section.
Chachi in the chat here. This area is beautiful, but it's so up and down riding the ridge. A few nice climbs aren't maintained the best. Love the Matazals.
Yeah, we keep talking about how brutal
are not
it is,
maintained,
but the views up there are so good.
Yes, I mean the high point of that range I think is near 9,000 feet. It's definitely above 8,000 for Matazal Peak.
It sure feels like it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. But yeah, you've got some great sweeping views of all over the place. So that ridge is what he'll be coming upon soon. If we make our way down a little bit more, you can see his track. Oh, there's his tracker. So he is, if that was a couple hours ago, he's probably somewhere in this zone on this backside. You can see this is the ridge right here. And Matazal Peak itself is a little bit down towards the bottom of your screen. So he's got quite a few tough miles ahead, and hopefully his crew will get out and meet him at Mount Peely.
Yeah, the one thing, I mean, there is decent water access in the Mazatals if you're aware of where it's at. That is the one thing I remember kind of as the saving grace of the area, is that they're like pretty regular.
Yeah, and I know he has a filter with him, so he should be fine on the water aspect of things. Let's go ahead. We didn't take a look at his Strava yesterday. Let's see if he made his upload. Would love to take a look at how long his day was from 2 days ago. Well, we got a quick update from Terry. Just backpacked the Matazal last month. There's a lot of cat claw and brush. Is he wearing gaiters? I'm not sure. We can maybe take a look.
Oh, wow.
All right, so here it is. His day 5 started at 7 a.m. That was on October 19th, so 2 days ago. 78 miles. Shin was awful yesterday, slowed down a lot, went through the night. 2 big sections to do today. Wow.
Yep.
That muddy trail.
Off camber, too.
Yeah. That's the Highline Trail. You can see straight ahead there is the Matazal Range, so that is where he is now. And that was one of the photos from before.
So the first thing that jumps out to me about this post is that I believe his net elevation is going to be downhill, just from where he started to where he finished.
Yes.
And you see on there he climbed about 8,000 feet in like an overall descent. That is a lot of up and down, and I'm assuming most of that's on the Highline Trail.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like elapsed time was 30 hours. Wow, so he had a 30-hour push, and I'm starting to think that this was maybe a mistake. I'll just say it now. We might as well talk about it.
Yep.
I think the decision to push through the night here when there was opportunities to stop, might have been challenging. Oh, looks like we do have I'm going to jump over. We've got a quick check-in from Brittany. Give us 1 second, guys. We'll unmute you. It looks like we've got Ben. Hello, good morning.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. How is it going?
I'll kind of give you an update. I don't know how much we just barely got service. We're on.
We could hear you for a second there, but now we can't, so...
Oh, you can see him bouncing around in there.
It looks like they are driving on some back roads at the moment. So he has a lot of support team now. So Ben, who was on the trail earlier, is now part of the support team. as well as his wife and kids are out there. They've also got 2 videographers now, so there's a big support team out there. Ben, we can't hear you at all. We could hear you earlier when you first started talking, so I don't know if something changed. Your audio doesn't seem to be coming through at the moment. You seem to have good service, so maybe you can stop for a second and maybe reset the link. We'll see if we can't get them to reset that link real quick. Terry Garber is asking about his tracker. It's down to 3%. Does he have a backup? Not that I know of. And the other thing to consider, these trackers that they have, they are cell-based, so that's why there's some infrequent updates on that. So, all right, let's go back. Ben, let me unmute you real quick. All right, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
all
you
right,
hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pull over. We're up on a kind of a vantage point driving, so I'll just pull over.
Okay.
Real fast.
Great.
Yeah. You want to go tell Brandon what we're doing? Okay. So, just to kind of give everybody an update, Mike pushed through 2 nights, which is really amazing, but he ran into some real difficult terrain, which slowed him way down. I believe his tracker might have even powered. You know, his cell phone was about to die this morning when he called me. Everything's it's just kind of like in a real jumble mess right now. He's running out of food. He's in really overgrown and rough terrain that's slowing him way down. And then he's sleep deprived. He was hoping to access the LF Ranch like bungalows up there for the hikers, but it was all locked up. So he bivvied for an hour. But, you know, just anybody that's ran through 2 nights or into a 200 or, you know, second night knows that sleep monster can just totally tear you down, and every little thing is just magnified. And so he's doing his best. So what we have going on is we have the other support crew is actually going back trail to him to bring him food and hopefully some charging device to help charge some stuff, and then guide him back to the Mount Peavey trailhead. We're headed up to the Mount Peavey trailhead. Derek is there, the videographer, but he's waiting. So we're going to get up there and kind of set up camp and get Mike in there. And we've kind of circled the wagons and we're going to get him some sleep till about sundown, and see if we can you know, build his confidence back up, you know, get his mind straight, and then try to trek on to the Sunflower exit crewing spot for the highway, and just kind of take one aid station at a time. That's our main goal, is just to keep him moving forward. He's just really discouraged about the speed and worried about, you know, the FKT in all. And I'm trying to encourage him that there's some good trail ahead of him. There's also some bad trail, but there's some good trail ahead of him. But it's gonna work itself out. We just got to get him to get his mental game back. Yeah,
that's some great insights. I'm really glad to hear that you guys are, you know, taking action there. I think that Mount Peavey trailhead, that's exactly what we were talking about this morning. You know, that seems like the best plan. So there's folks on the trail right now with extra supplies.
Yeah, so his crew was going to take some supplies. He was like about 18 miles of where we were thinking he was at from the trailhead. So they were going to head in and hopefully intersect him, you know, within 9 miles, like 3 hours from where he was or something. And they should be getting to him right about now, and then guiding him through. And we're just going to, hopefully we can get him to sleep for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And he become a new man.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We were just commenting too. I think, you know, he took a bit of a gamble 2 nights ago going through the night, and now he had an unplanned through the night. So I think getting back on that sleep schedule, potentially even a chance to shift to a daytime sleep schedule might turn out to be a good thing, especially as he heads down into the deserts. If he can be moving at night, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's our goal. I think Jeff Browning's gonna come out and meet us down in the Sunflower. That's a motivation to keep him moving forward. And then Jeff was gonna kind of take him a little bit through the next mountain range. And if we can get him to the desert, that's the thing. If we can get him to the desert, he can make up a lot of time by moving at night, moving in the evening and the early morning hours. And once we get him to the 200 miles that I made it, I can walk him through like each section where he can make up time or where he's going to lose a little bit of time. But to know what to expect is a huge mental, benefit, because when you're just running, when I was just learning as I go, but now I can say, hey, this approach, you got this climb, it's not that bad, but this descent and this, this is where you're going to want to put on some, catch your knee brace type stuff to break through the trail. I'm gonna make him some gaiters with some reinforced duct tape to help save his shins from some of the crazy overgrowth that I went through.
Yeah, and we were both commenting earlier, Ben, that for both of us when we did the Arizona Trail, the Matazel Wilderness was our slowest section. So I sent that message to Mike this morning, and I encouraged him, and I said, that was my slowest stretch of trail.
And not only slowest, I would say lowest moments overall were all through that section. So if Mike can make it through this, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but I would say, in my personal opinion, the most difficult 60 or so miles of the trail is behind him.
Yeah, I think that would resonate with a lot of hikers too. So maybe just keep sending that message home to him.
Yeah, I'll if especially the worst is behind you kind of a thing, if I can say that, and definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, not to say there aren't tough sections ahead, but that one is one of the most remote sections. I mean, the Superstitions are remote, but it's a little different out there.
Yeah, it's just relentless is the word I would use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the onlookers that are watching this, I hope they can sense the magnitude of this effort. Like the magnitude of, I mean, obviously we have so much respect for Joe and for Jeff and for anyone that's done this, Katie Brown, everybody, the people out doing it. But the magnitude of this is just beyond 800 miles. It's beyond 120,000 feet of vert. It's the combination of the heat and the cold and the desolate and being out there alone and being secluded, and then the rock and the trail, every barbed wire piece of bush that just grabs at you and tears at you, and the whole entire time for 12, 13, 14 days is I don't know, it's mind-blowing. So I hope people are just captivated, hooked on this, and it's just to see to see Mike doing this is just insane and awesome and awe-inspiring. And so it's keep it moving forward as a team, but when it comes down to it, it's Mike making the decision to keep moving forward. He's collecting our encouragement and our support and stuff, but it's Mike ultimately making that full decision to keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other, even no matter how painful and discomfort it is.
Yeah, and I mean, he's nearing the halfway point of the trail. Like, he'll hit it later today, I believe. And he's still, it seems like he's still on track. So I know maybe he's a little behind where he wanted to be, but yeah, keeping that in mind too is important.
This is going to be a nail biter. If we can keep him going and lift his spirits back up and get him through, I think this is going to be one of the most ultimate epic FKT brought to a live audience ever. I think this is just unreal.
Well, I hope he can get some sleep and get caught back up for sure.
Yeah, and it makes
awesome.
I think I speak for both of us when I say we feel a lot better knowing that you and your crew are going up there to assist, and I know all the support's going to be appreciated. So, yeah, very cool.
Well, and I think if Browning can get out there and do some pacing, I think having a pacer for some of these sections ahead. I don't know if there's there's any more of that kind of support coming out, but that to me seems like it was hugely beneficial for Joe having Whit out there on the trail.
Yeah, it's huge to have support. I mean, I had about 10 miles of the 200 that I did, and it's an energy thing. It's to have someone there, someone suffering with you, someone that's seen what you're going through, and encouraging, and it's real time, and it's a huge difference.
For sure. You have anything else you want to talk through with Ben here? You have any other closing thoughts, Ben?
No, I just appreciate everybody's love and support. Appreciate those people who have donated. This is for a cause. It's not just for entertainment. Mike has really been passionate about rods. I've been passionate about bigger than the trail. So please, if you guys are being inspired, go donate just even a little bit. Shows the support. And we're almost out of hats. I guess I got a message from Bigger Than the Trail that they're kind of handling the shipping, and I think there's only just a handful of hats left of the 150 we ordered, and we were just trying to decide if we should do a reorder with Poco if anybody more wants that. So I don't know. All those proceeds go to the nonprofit. So we just want to encourage people to remember that this is not just for an FKT. This is not just for Mike or myself or anybody. It's for other people as well. It's serving the community.
That's awesome.
And a percentage is going to Arizona Trail Association. So please don't forget that. We're gonna, it's almost split a third. Another percentage is going to go over to the Arizona Trail Association to help better the trails, increase more trail production, more awareness. I mean, what they have here is just beautiful and brutal and unique.
Awesome. It looks like we have in the chat here Todd Ferguson. I'm heading out tomorrow to help crew and pace until he's finished. So I don't know if you know Todd.
I think if it's the same Todd, I have about 3 or 4 Todds I know. If it's
okay,
but I'm sorry, I can't identify last names. But
sure. So there might be some more help on the way. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, and I know he has someone reached out to me, one of his clients, that said he's flying in today to Phoenix. He's trying to get a ride from Phoenix to us.
Right on.
But with the situation right now, we're kind of all circling the wagon. So we're just gonna have to kind of play that one by ear.
Well, keep us in mind. We might have some folks from Phoenix that are going to come up. Since at the Sunflower Trailhead, it's just 45 minutes from the office here, so it's starting to be pretty manageable. Do you have to thank and shout out Steve Zilker here in the chat? He did a super chat donation. Let Mike know there are so many people cheering him on.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben, and good luck, and we'll check in with you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. There you heard it. That was a very great update. I'm glad we were able to touch base with him. We were kind of a little bit in the dark and just guessing what was happening, so it's great to hear that the team is, which I would have expected, is already in action and taking steps to keep Mike moving.
Yeah, I was very happy to hear Ben say that right around now the crew should be meeting up with Mike. I think that's going to obviously it's going to be huge if Mike is running out of supplies, food. So, yeah, hoping for the best on this one. I think if anybody can rally, it's Mike. He's got the experience.
So tough.
And he's got a good crew. He's in a tough spot, geographically.
Yeah, literally.
Mentally.
Yep.
So, yeah. It'll be fun to watch him dig himself out, but I believe he can do it.
Yeah, I have faith in him as well. So I'm just looking forward to him hopefully getting to this trailhead van and get some good rest, and maybe he can head out this evening. But I would love to see him go down for 4 to 5 hours and start to get caught back up.
Recharge a little bit. It's a huge push to do 78 miles, and that's not even the entire single effort from the sounds of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a massive, massive effort. And
Yeah,
hopefully he
let's
could
see.
recharge.
I guess where he ended, we could see where he ended yesterday.
The Pine Trailhead.
That was Pine Trailhead. So he took a bit of a break there. So I don't know. I mean, the activity he's on right now was started yesterday. So he's got just a couple huge days. It's wild.
Yep.
And yeah, the amount of cumulative miles that he's put in, let's take a quick look at that, because it's incredible how it adds up. I mean, he's on a 200-mile week so far, and last week was 150 to kind of kick things off. Question for you here, Bryce. Which app do you prefer for hiking the Arizona Trail?
So when I used it, it was called Gut Hook. They have since rebranded the name, so Far Out is the app that I've been using to just kind of monitor a lot of like what they've been doing. It also has really good information on water sources, which is the function that we use the most, I would say.
Yeah, I would say if you are through hiking, FKTing, or section hiking the Arizona Trail, it is an absolute must. Go buy that app, download it. It is incredible.
Yep, but I wouldn't say it replaces a GPS unit.
Right. Well, your phone can die.
Your phone can die.
Always have backups. Things have come a long way.
Yep.
So it's great. Let's do a quick sweep of social. See if we have any other updates from the trail. We looked at Mike's post. Not sure if there's anything new from Sarah and their team. Doesn't look like it. We do want to check in. We have a couple other Arizona Trail FKT attempts. So Eric Halston started the day after Mike, and he does have an update here. So as of 10 hours ago, a third of the way done with the trail, 263 miles in 4 days, 16 hours. So he's doing very, very well.
He is. 263, so he's got to be...
Well, we can take a look where he's at.
Oh, we got the tracker.
Yeah,
That's right.
he does have a Garmin tracker here.
Past Mormon Lake? Is he coming up on the rim, probably? Happy Jack? Yeah, so it looks like he's nearing the Mogollon.
Yeah, so past Mormon Lake, and his last check-in was just at 9:53, so he's moving right along. Yeah, Blue Ridge Reservoir is probably right down, somewhere down here?
To the left a little bit.
Maybe it's not showing on here.
Well, there's the rim. You can see below it.
We can't find it. We're hopelessly lost. Anyways, yeah, he's coming up on the Mogollon Rim, which is right down here. So why can't we see Blue Ridge Reservoir? This is strange.
I think does it wind back? Let's see.
I feel like it's in this. Is it not in this?
Just below the 87. East Clear Creek is.
It's near East Clear Creek, right?
It drains from. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's not as big as you think.
Is that it? Yeah, CC
Yeah,
Kragen.
that's it.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, so he'll be heading towards there later today. And then I think Krista's probably doesn't have her next 100-mile update yet. We'll keep an eye on that. And then the last thing we want to check is the Arizona Trail 300. Actually, I'm going to go to track leaders. So the mountain bike race started yesterday, Arizona Trail race. And so some folks are doing the whole Arizona Trail, all 800 miles. And some are just doing the 300. We'll pull this up here. So they're scattered across southern Arizona. Looks like your leaders are near Reddington Pass. Will Boda was. Say he's doing the 300. And Alex Schultz also doing the 300.
Can we take a peek at AW? That's Andy Wenzel, and he's from Phoenix area.
Really?
I've ran with him.
He's doing the
before.
full 800.
Love it.
Wow.
Yep. Sponsor burritos and beer.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then it looks like Hefe Branham is right behind him.
All right.
also doing the 800 northbound. So we'll keep an eye on that each morning as we go. So Allison is saying roughly 6 hours behind Josh's FKT. That's for Eric, potentially. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you have any other thoughts for today? We'll probably shut it down.
A lot of drama.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Ben was able to tie up some loose ends for us. I'm feeling a lot more hopeful about Mike's situation after knowing the support that he has on his way. So, yeah, kind of a roller coaster of a day, I would say.
Yep. So we'll keep an eye on. Hopefully they can get his tracker charged back up, and we'll have some live updates later into the evening. But for now, I guess we'll sign off, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30. We'll do our day 7 check-in, see where he stands after 1 week.
Day 7 already.
All right. We'll see you guys. Have a great one.